And when I came here, I had to learn, first year, I had to learn how to speak English and learn some of the, like in arithmetic and stuff. Division, multiplication. Then when I went to 4th grade, I graduated from 4th grade. I never came back to school. Pa says I'm smart enough. So
it's time to go to work?
By then I was 16. I could go to work. But then 2 years later, you couldn't go to work because they had a law 18. You had to go to school once a day or once a week.
Do you remember what year that was?
And, well, let's see. 14, 18, that's around 1920. No, that couldn't be.
When were you born?
1924 I came here.
When were you born?
I was born here in Milwaukee.
1914, did you say?
I was born in 1904. No, 1911.
1911?
Yeah.
Okay. So 1927 or so, you're talking when you would be 16?
I was 16, then I could go to work. And I worked in 2 foundries.
What was your job? What did you do when you first started?
Labor. Sorting castings, and then when they pour twice a day. You know, the molder made the molds, and then we'd go out on the floor and help them pour it. They got weights, 75-pound weight, and the mold was, depends on how big a casting they were making. And there's 2 holes in it. One you poured in, and the other one, when the vent went up, the air came out. And then you had a box you put over the mold. You put that ahead of time, and then you put the weight on top of that. And then you'd pour it. Somebody would pour it. And then you'd move it ahead. You move the mold back and you move it ahead. And then when it cooled off some, then you take it to the bench where you made it, where you made the mold. With the casting and all. And the first time I went out there, I couldn't lift it. Then these guys, they gave me the biggest one because they knew. I found that out later, but at first they knew that. They were grinning that I couldn't lift them. But I got into it, and I started carrying them, and I did the job all right. But when I got home, I couldn't eat. This arm would not go to my mouth.
You're just so sore.
Because it's just with no cooperation in it at all. It would go so far and no more. And I said, I'm not hungry. And I had to walk from 6th and Maple over to 20th, around 20th in Oklahoma. That's about a half hour. That's a long walk.
Yeah, that's over a mile, isn't it?
Up and back. How else you gonna get it? There's no car. We didn't have cars.
I suppose. Didn't have a bus then either.
They had a streetcar. You could go around the other way on the streetcar, but you had quite a ways to walk from the streetcar. You know, the streetcar don't go right up to that plant. Then I got the job in Pelton Steel. I was 18.
How'd you get that job? Did you know someone, or did you just go in and apply?
Somebody told me to come over and try for it, and I went over and I got the job. And I was doing labor work there too.
Were they a big company then, or were they just small?
No, small. All foundries, years ago, you know, there's a lot of foundries in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
All over the town. Small ones, you know, big. Like Ellis Chambers maybe, but they made big casting. Or Falk.
Yeah.
They made big, huge casting. Gear blanks and stuff like that.
What were the castings that you guys made? What were they for? I mean, were they...
Well, they were for all kinds of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Steel castings were used on Caterpillar used a lot of them. Beloit Ironworks used a certain one. Like Caterpillar tracks. We made a lot of these shoes.
Okay, so they could cast them for you made
shoes that the tractors run on.
Okay.
And those that we had to straighten them. We had to press, straighten them, and then you had a outfit you put in there, and you hammer it in so it goes in easy.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get it, put it on the machine, you don't have to struggle with it too much.
Sure. You did the hard work.
And then, so how the heck did I get? I got one of the guys we used to weld castings would be a pit, and when he'd be away, I'd go in there and start fooling around. I got the job welding then.
Oh yeah?
I was a welder for 15 years, welding castings.
Was that better work?
A little. Well, it's not as heavy, but it's hotter than hell.
Yeah.
Then I got good at it, and I was welding everything for them. When they'll be putting up on a plant, they were putting up extension, cranes. I was sitting on top of the crane and welding stuff on the ceiling,
Really?
around a carriage. They had to get the cable way up there,
Mm-hmm.
then they had to get me up there, and then a ladder on there. When I think of it, that was really dangerous.
Yeah.
But you didn't think of it. Think a guy comes in, you think you can reach the door? Sure. I'd get up on the ladder and overhead that stuff flies at you. You know, the sparks.
Sure. Yeah.
But we dressed for that.
I suppose in the summer that'd be pretty warm.
Hot.
Hot. Yeah, I suppose hot's a better word for it, isn't it?
That was miserable in the summertime. Like for years I'd work in that pit, you know, so you'd stand. But just the castings, the smaller castings were over there. Then you turn them over by hand. They had a crane, but you had to pull on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want to waste time, so I got on. One time I took a gear blank, I turned it down and it cut my apron and boom, down I went in the pit. Then they took me to the hospital.
So did you get hurt?
To the doctor. Because I still got the scar here. It cut me. They took me in and the doctor looked at me and then he says, you go right home now. In about a half an hour you're going to be in shock. And I thought to myself, the heck, and I went and worked. And I don't know if I was in shock or not. But I would lose money. So you don't get paid for not being there.
Oh, okay.
You got hurt, that's your fault.
Mm.
You're not supposed to get hurt.
Yeah. So how many stitches did you get? Or did you...
Well, that was over here, maybe about this long. They just sewed it. He just sewed it up.
A lot of blood?
Oh, hell, I was bleeding. Wally was with me too because I was breaking him in.
Oh.